Do we have Kelly here? Kelly.
She's been here for a while.
Yeah.
It's a hard act to follow, that one. Hi, my name's Carly. I'm actually policy manager at the Drug Foundation, but I'm doing a personal submission about my time spent with my mother who was dying of cancer and using cannabis. So you'll see from my submission that I'm asking for the statutory exception to include support people, of whom I was one. I'm also asking for the statutory defence to apply for other conditions as well on behalf of other, particularly relatives of mine, some friends of mine as well who have other conditions that they use cannabis for. And I'm also asking for patients to be able to cultivate cannabis for their own medical use as well, both as part of the statutory defence and then also once the regulatory framework has been put together as part of that also. So and actually what I mostly wanted to talk to about today, because you've got my written submission anyway, is about patient empowerment and about how important it is, I think, given my experiences with my mother, to give patients the right to control their own treatment and to do what they need to do to improve their quality of life without feeling the need for us to force treatment on them or to, even worse, call them criminals. So my mum died 3 years ago from breast cancer at the age of 65. Her name's Dale. She had a fascinating life. She was New Zealand's top rhythmic gymnast in the 1970s. She competed at Commonwealth and World Games. Wow. She was a maths teacher. She was a chef. She was an aerobics instructor. In her 30s, she trained as a clinical psychologist while having a few children. She was then later a property developer. So she had an amazing life, and she also had a genius IQ, and she had an amazing character. She was larger than life. She was vibrant. She was a positive person with a lot of creative energy about her. So she's greatly missed, but you'll see from my submission that she used cannabis during her last couple of years of illness. She'd never used it before and had always been quite down on it throughout my childhood, I remember. So she came to my house from Dunedin to die over a period of 4 months in my living room, and when she turned up, she proudly showed me her massive jar of buds that she got in Northland. And I was a little bit concerned at that time because I was currently working as a policy advisor at the Ministry of Justice. Like, oh my God, what do I do here? So the cannabis was really helpful for her with her anxiety. She had breast cancer, but it went to her brain by that stage. She got really bad anxiety. So, for example, I remember one particular quite entertaining experience where she was very, very anxious, and I suggested we drink tea and watch period dramas because that's my solution to anxiety. But she found that the Jane Austen actually made her really freaked out for some reason, and she just said, look, I have to confess, I just want to eat cannabis brownies and watch American real-life murder mysteries on YouTube, and that was actually what got her through the last few months of life in a calm state for some reason. So I think for me, the point there is that whatever I may think about a particular approach, it's not really going to be, that's not really relevant when you're dealing with a patient. It's up to them to live the way they want to, and it's up to them to die the way they want to as well. And so also on that note, my mum preferred to use a lot of alternative remedies to treat her cancer. She was offered chemo, but she didn't want to go that way. I felt a little bit frustrated, I guess, about that, wanting her to do what I thought was going to be the best for her, but it was not really relevant, actually, what I wanted. She was really distrustful of Western medicine throughout her life, and I think from the story she told me, she had a lot of really good reasons for being distrustful of Western medical approach. Personally, I don't have that approach, but it was really important for me to be humble and just go with whatever she wanted to do, and I would do it that way again as well. So I guess this part of, I'm just really wanting to hone in. I've got a lot of things to say about medical cannabis, but I just really wanted to hone in on patient rights and empowerment and talk a bit about people who have a distrust of Western medicine, of which my mother was one. I don't think that's an insignificant group of people. We've heard from others here today as well. So I think that even if we develop a really great regulatory framework and have some really amazing products, we'll always need the right for some patients to grow their own, and I think we can come up with some really good regulatory examples from Canada and other countries where it's perfectly possible to do that without any harm to society as a whole, and I would really like to see that, I guess, what I think of as a human right upheld. So, yeah,
Mum would never have, I think, even have taken cannabis out of a bottle or in a pill form from a pharmaceutical company. So even if we're 10 years down the track and we've got all that stuff working in New Zealand, wouldn't have helped Mum. She would have wanted the raw plant, and that was just the way she was. And so I'm here to talk, on her behalf about that. And the other point is we've also heard that it's a lot cheaper to grow your own as well, which is going to be really relevant to a lot of people. Oh, was that 5 minutes already? So I just want to think that I just want to leave you with whether or not you think there's great science behind cannabis. And personally, I think there is great science behind a lot of different uses of cannabis as a medicine. I don't think that's the question when we're looking at the statutory defence. So I think the science is relevant to the development of the regulatory framework, but when it comes to the statutory defence, it's not the science that's relevant, it's the patient's life, it's the patient's experience, and it's their right to choose for themselves how they live and, if possible, possibly how they die also. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you very much.